Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video. Thank you for tuning in. Before we get started, I want to say thank you. This was our sub count on Friday evening, and then here was our sub count this morning, Monday morning when we woke up. So that's about 400 new subs over the past couple of days, and just want to say thanks for that. And then also, we woke up to some really cold temperatures yesterday. It was negative 9 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 23 degrees as the Celsius, and then a negative 25 degree wind chill. And then looking at this week's forecast, you can see today we've got wind chills during the day of negative 5 to 15. Then this evening it drops down to negative 20 to negative 30. And tomorrow the wind chill during the day is negative 15 to negative 25, which is just frigid. And if you look here, this was actually this morning, just a few minutes ago. The creek is so cold, or the outside is so cold that the creek water is steaming. So I've only seen this a couple times. That means that it's really cold out, and so we're just gonna be hunkering down inside the tent. The
sun's just now starting to come up, and it's really cold at the moment, but I wanted to show you all some of these really cool ice formations that are really starting to get to be pretty good in size. This whole section of the creek right here just has, you know, little ice formations all along it. Well, actually the whole section does, but hey Meadow, come on, let's get back, girl. And then you look over here, it just goes all the way around like that. I think it's so cool looking. And what it is just blades of grass or like a twig that is sticking down the water. And then what it does is just over time, it just, you know, more and more water laps over it, so more ice forms. So let's go check out a few more. The sun coming up, so we got some passive solar coming through. You definitely feel a difference in the heat, and all the ice that's on from the walls there is going to start melting. So it's going to go down here, go down to the sides on those side walls, and then hit the floor. And I'm going to have to clean that up with a towel or something like that. I took this little one out, and she was running to the creek. And I noticed that she started limping almost immediately because it's so cold out there. That's just her feet almost like froze. So got her back in here, got her feet all warmed up, and now we're just kind of hanging in the tent. But I'm gonna try to get some stuff done outside if we can. The wind chill today is supposed to be negative 25, so pretty cold even though it's gonna be sunny. But at least we'll be able to get some solar coming in and get some stuff done inside the tent. So not a totally lost day. You know? Oh my goodness, you got me. Oh, you got me good now. Uh-oh, you're just laying on me. What are you doing, you little stinker? You little fucking girl. What is it? What, you gotta tell me. What is it? Well, you want to play, don't you? You are so vicious. Vicious animal. Vicious animal. Nice. She's starting to get impatient. She's like, come on, I want to go outside. You want to go outside? Yeah. Okay, let's go outside. Alright guys, Monday morning here. Didn't sleep a lot last night just because I was up loading the stove all night long and just making sure that it was staying warm. Basically what I wanted to make sure was that that little one right there was in good shape and didn't get cold, because she wanted to sleep on her bed last night on the floor. And the floor is always a little bit colder, you know, than the rest of the tent here. But I wanted to show you something that can happen when you're dealing with a really cold night and you're constantly feeding wood in the stove. And it's something you want to be mindful of, because you can get yourself into a situation to where you can't load any more wood into the stove and your stove's not performing very well, and I'll show you why. So let's take a look at the firebox here and I'll explain what I'm talking about. Alright, now first, before we start this, look at her behind the stove. Look how little amount of wood I have left compared to what I put down here yesterday. I had this whole place filled up with both hardwoods and then also a little bit of pine over there, and almost all of it's gone because last night the temperatures, we had negative wind chills, or we had wind chills of negative 10 to negative 20, and then tonight it's supposed to be negative 25 to 35 for the wind chills. And the wind was probably about 10 miles an hour from the north, I would say, so it was constantly hitting up against that wall right there, the tent, and you could just kind of feel cold encroaching on this area. I went to bed around 3 a.m. and then woke up about 4:45, and so I only got, you know, a little less than 2 hours of sleep last night. So definitely going to be taking a nap today, because today the wind chills are going to be negative 25 to negative 35 throughout the day, and that's just going to hold into the evening time. And then luckily that'll break tomorrow morning and it'll be starting to warm up a little bit. So, all right, let's take a look at the stove box here, and I'll show you what sort of pickle you can get into if you're just constantly feeding wood into your stove. Alright, so here's the stove box here this morning as of, let's see, what time is it? 7:35 a.m. And like I said, last night ran the stove pretty much all night and just loaded all my wood in there, just kept on feeding it the stove so that way we could stay warm. And the goal is you always want to have flames licking the bottom portion of the firebox here, because that distributes the maximum amount of heat, and then your eco fan can push the heat around. So if we look inside here, what you're going to notice is that about half of the firebox is filled up completely with these like basically coals. You know, this is broken down wood that hasn't broken down completely, but it's halfway up in there, and it goes all the way to the back. So the problem that you run into with that is if you keep on adding wood on top of this and don't let it break down to where it becomes complete ash and give it a complete burn, then you're going to have a bunch of coals in the bottom and limited space on top where to put wood, and eventually you get to the point where you just can't put any more wood in there and you have to let this burn down. So what I'll do to let it burn down is to bring all the coals from the back to the front, you know, so I'll do that second burn that I've talked about before, which I've already done with this, but I can just do this as an example. You just basically pull the coals toward the front, and I always put my hand here with the firebox gloves in front of it just so that the coals don't spill out onto the ground. But you want to pull them just like that. But you want to pull the coals up as close as you can to the front, because that way it'll get maximum air pushed in there, and then that'll break down those coals. And then eventually in the next, like, I would say hour, those coals will begin to break down a lot more, and that biomass will turn to ash, which is, you know, a fraction of the size of what you see in there. And then you'll have the rest of your firebox, like more of it to load wood in. Because even though those coals are in there and they're hot, it's not nearly as warm as if you have actual flame and like a bunch of flame in there, a bunch of different pieces on fire. Like I said, licking the bottom, those flames need to lick the bottom of the firebox on the roof there to get the maximum heat into your tent to keep you warm. So today we're gonna clean that out. Obviously we're gonna let it run down to nothing and then get it 100% clean for tonight, because we're supposed to get really cold temperatures. And so today I've got to clean that firebox to 100% out and just make sure that there's nothing in it for this evening. That way when I do start the stove up for tonight, it's going to run hot and efficient all night long and keep us warm in this really cold spell that's coming up. Because negative 25 to negative 35, that's chilly. And we'll definitely be feeling it in here, but luckily last night it wasn't too bad, because like since I stayed up all night for the majority of the night and just fed the stove, you know, it stayed warm in here, so it wasn't an issue. And that's the one nice thing about having a little bit of an oversized stove for this tent, is that this stove's a little bit big for it, but that's okay, because on evenings like this that are coming up, we'll be in good shape with the extra, you know, size in the firebox to put a bunch of biomass in there and keep us warm.
cold temps like this, I don't want to have Meadow outside, so I think we're just going to be chilling by the stove. And I may be playing a little bit of Call of Duty today. Just a heads up, nerd alert, I'm really good at this game. I only use boxing gloves, and I always get first place on Call of Duty because I'm a dork. So we're going to be doing that at camp today. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. Hope you all have an awesome Monday, and we'll see you in tomorrow's video at 4 p.m. Thank you for your support.